Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It begins at a Californian trailer park that recently received its first arcade machine by accident. The manager Jane's a single mother whose son should be helping out around the park, but instead Alex spends every waking minute playing the video game Starfighter. He has a little brother named Lewis who follows him everywhere and a girlfriend named Maggie who's going to the lake with her friends. Alex says that he has work to do around the park, but we never actually see him do anything except play this damn game and complain about it. He treats it like he's working on a chain gang, so the store owner Otis has heard enough and tells the full-grown man to get a real job, or at least he should have. Maggie also lives at the park with her grandmother, but upon returning is completely ignored by her boyfriend for this awful-looking game. As he reaches the high score, a crowd gathers to cheer on Alex, destroying some aggressive-looking polygons that are apparently the enemy. His victory in this unknown game becomes quite the occasion, as most of these people don't even own televisions and they disperse asking about what just happened. Maggie's in a bad mood, probably because of the little attention she receives from her boyfriend, but says it's because Alex wants to leave to a different college. She's still supportive, which pays off when Jane tells her son that his loan application got denied and that he'll have to remain local like all of his friends. Instead of just getting that employment that he so desperately needs to afford schooling, Alex goes outside to sulk when noticing the Starfighter games on the fritz. Just then a sketchy-looking Cybertruck pulls up beside the park and doesn't even need candy to beckon over the idiotic boy. The eccentric Centauri claims to be the machine's inventor, which is all it takes for Alex to enter the vehicle, as he isn't the brightest star in the universe. A second passenger gives him a zap and departs before Centauri locks the doors and kidnaps Alex, saying something about wanting to show him a surprise. The creep's trousers remain on, but he says that the arcade machine was meant to be delivered to Vegas and nobody's ever performed as well as Alex. Furthermore, their ride's actually a spaceship and blasts off out of Earth's orbit, piling up these kidnapping charges that'll likely never be followed up on. While soaring through the cosmos, Centauri pops out his eyeballs to give them a clean, as he's an alien in disguise, but nothing ever seems to faze this Earthling. They travel to the faraway planet of Rylos, leaving behind Alex's friends and family to join the Starfighter Federation at their low-resolution command center. It's filled with a humanoid alien race called Rylans, whose only differentiating feature is that they have women with big bald heads like the men. A technician gives Alex a translation device so that he can understand all of the other races who, like him, are being recruited into the Federation's Star League. After stepping on Cthulhu's tentacle, Alex is told by the ambassador Enduran that the arcade game represents an actual war against the poo-faced Kodan. The arcade game was designed by Centauri to find people with abilities like Alex and this alien whose face is on the verge of getting censored. Unlike the Force in this movie, they call it the Gift, and when everyone begins to chant death or victory, that's when Alex finally decides to skedaddle. He runs into the friendly navigator Grig, who, like everybody's, respectful to the Starfighters but can't comprehend Alex not wanting to die for their cause. The lizard says that everybody in the universe wants to be a Starfighter, but humans don't know about the League because Earth is still in its infancy stage. Centauri repackaged the test as a video game to scout out these lesser planets, and even to the Federation, what he did to Alex was considered kidnapping. He straight up calls Alex a coward for ratting him out about the abduction when the traitorous Zor appears in a hollow projection. He's the one leading the Kodan Empire against his own father Enduran, and has promised control of Rylos to these crusty aliens. To show just how villainous this guy is, he melts one of his fellow foreheads and proceeds to broadcast his death to the rest of his friends. He then says the Kodan Armada will begin their invasion when the green moon's in eclipse, and not even the great Alex will be able to save them. We're shown that Zor is really only a dork with daddy issues who the Kodan commander Kril's using, and doesn't take his little control scepter seriously. Since their leader gave Prince Forehead command of their army, they follow his orders to open a small breach in the force field around the planet Rylos. The enemy command ship launches bombs through the hole directed at the Starfighter base, but their defenses shoot them out of orbit. Unfortunately, a traitor sabotages the gunners, allowing the explosives to make it through the blockade and rain down like a meteor shower onto the base. Gleefully waving about his compensation stick, the commander gets notified that a single surviving Starfighter left the base only moments earlier. A disappointed Centauri's taking Alex back to Earth while guilt-tripping him the entire flight that his attitude prevents him from ever becoming great. For all this advanced technology, the alien's car breaks down like a regular old piece of junk just a stone's throw away from the trailer park. Alex decides to walk the rest of the way home, so Centauri gives him a communication device should he change his mind in about 60 seconds. So that his absence went unnoticed, an android lookalike was left in place of Alex after taking his DNA when they first met. It was almost discovered by Maggie while still cooking and rejected all of the girlfriend's advances, which is, I guess, better than the alternative. When the real Alex gets back, he finds the beta unit looks completely identical and has been performing its duties perfectly. Leaving to contact Centauri, Alex definitely needs to get Lewis some therapy, as he watches him leave the room only to find him still in bed moments later. Commander Zur has sent an assassin named Azando Zan to Earth whose grotesque appearance is revealed by the Starfighter machine. As Alex is walking past, the interstellar hit beast attempts to kill him, but the android inadvertently distracts the alien with confusion. Just then Centauri swoops in and turns out to be a stone-cold killer as he blows off Ugly's arm like it ain't no thing. With more assassins coming to finish the job, the only way to protect himself is for Alex to return to Rylos while Beta remains here as a decoy on Earth. The Zando Zan is still able to manipulate his severed arm holding the gun and shoots Centauri, who finally kills the hitman in return. Now badly injured, the alien leaves Beta behind and returns to Rylos with Alex, but upon reaching the base they find it completely destroyed. Only a few of the technicians survived, including Grig, but a weak Centauri passes out from blood loss upon arrival. He then wakes up just long enough to say goodbye to Alex in a dramatic death scene, but the kid only met this old dude like a couple hours ago. Alex and Grig put on their space suits as the humans expected to pilot an actual spaceship into battle called a Gunstar. Coincidentally, there's only one left after the rest were destroyed during the bombardment, but it's a prototype with extra doohickeys. The pilots take their seats, and it's only now does Alex learn that all of the other starfighters have died and they're facing the entire enemy armada by themselves. He's crapping himself, but the alien's happy to be facing such unbeatable odds as he seems to desire glory more than life. They leave the planet for the frontier, where Alex is given a brief tutorial on how to operate the Gunstar weapon since he's terrible at it. Once he removes the gloves, it's just like the arcade machine and he can hit every shot, which gives us this noise from Grig. They travel to the force field where a small scout ship sent by Zur doesn't even bother to report back and just tries to attack them. For his first bit of real-world combat, Alex leads the ship into a low-resolution asteroid and manages to destroy it, but the experience leaves him somewhat rattled. Grig agrees that Alex is not ready for battle and promises to take him to Earth after first playing the manipulation game. He says that the Kodan will likely one day attempt to conquer there as well, and pulls out photos of his wife Void and 6,000 little Griglings to garner some sympathy. Alex then laughs when Grig says that the inside of the asteroid looks like his subterranean home, but this kid lives in a trailer, remember? The moment they exit the cave, a small fleet attacks them, but the Gunstar is much more advanced and is able to take laser blasts with minimal damage. Alex easily destroys them all, which I'm not half sure weren't planted by Grig, because it gives the human courage to stay and fight against the whole armada. Meanwhile on Earth, the Beta Alex is still giving Lewis nightmares when he sees his brother performing maintenance on his head. It adjusts to a life at the park helping Otis with chores, but struggles to show any affection to Maggie of any kind. More of the ugliest assassins in the universe arrive, and that night one kills a police officer to steal his patrol car and identity. The android goes with Maggie and some friends to the lake, and he's clearly acting weird, but somehow they don't take him to a hospital. Apparently the thing to do is to split up into pairs around the lake, but Maggie becomes annoyed by Beta's awkward attempt to romance her. The unit mimics their friend's conversation, which seems to work at first, but when he begins to get a bit dirty, that's not Maggie's cup of tea. Giving up, the android admits to Maggie that he isn't the real boyfriend when the undercover assassin arrives. His disguise is completely pointless anyway, as he just shoots from the bushes, revealing the Beta's colorful lubricant instead of the regular stuff. The assassin flees to tell Prince Zur that there's still a starfighter alive, while the Beta gives chase with Maggie, who should be much more freaked out. Before the hit beast can radio the Kodan from his space shuttle, Beta forces Maggie to jump from the truck and crashes into the spaceship, destroying itself in the transmission. Maggie is also traumatized like everybody around Alex at this point, while the short message to Zur ends with the words "The Last Starfighter is." Assuming that it was going to say dead, he orders the final attack on Rylos as they cut another hole in the frontier. The armada enters through the breach and passes over an asteroid where Alex and Grig are waiting inside to attack the command ship from behind. By the time Kril detects the Gunstar sneaking up behind them, it's already too late, as Alex takes out the main turret and this thing doesn't have anything else. They then drop bombs on the communications tower, destroying their ability to alert the rest of the pilots who don't have any rear-view mirrors. Approaching from the left flank, Alex just opens fire and begins laying waste to the fleet with tactics he mastered by playing the video game. Eventually the weapons are destroyed and the last Starfighter is left a sitting duck in the spaceship that's frankly indestructible anyway. Grig has Alex activate an experimental get-out-of-jail-free card called the Death Blossom, which sends them spiraling out of control and firing in all directions. It destroys all the remaining Kodan fighters, but the trade-off is that it leaves Alex and Grig adrift in space without any power. On the command ship, Kril blames Zur for everything due to his assumption that the assassin killed the last Starfighter. He orders him to be removed from the bridge and executed. However, an explosion allows Forehead to defeat his captors and flee in an escape pod for a possible sequel. Without weapons left, Kril orders the command ship to just ram straight into the Gunstar, which floats between them and the moon. Grig manages to tap into the life support systems to temporarily regain power, which allows Alex to give the command ship a final attack run. He destroys the spaceship's thrusters, getting them caught in the moon's gravity that pulls old Pooh Face and his entire species to their deaths. There's millions of Rylan aliens celebrating his return with a big gathering, and they all proclaim Alex to be the savior of Rylos. Even Centauri survived, and they make a big deal out of his reunion with Alex, but this isn't no Luke and Obi situation, as these two barely know each other. Ambassador Enduran asks him to remain on the planet and help rebuild the Star League since the frontier has collapsed and Zor could come back again. Alex agrees to remain, but first needs to return to Earth and lands the Gunstar in the middle of the trailer park with no tact at all. All of the family and friends gather to see the boyfriends return when Grig descends to tell everybody about Alex's heroism as the last Rylan starfighter. He explains that his actions will protect Earth in the long run, so everybody celebrates, not really knowing what the hell is going on. Alex asks Maggie to join him in space, but she's not just lazy and unemployed, she's actually bound to this place taking care of her elderly grandmother. That means nothing to this kid, who basically guilt trips her into abandoning Granny or else possibly losing her boyfriend forever. She promises to send the old woman a letter like that's ever going to happen and returns to Rylos with Alex and Grig on board the Gunstar. As they depart, Lewis gets inspired to follow in his brother's footsteps and begins basically training for war on this arcade machine. The rest of the trailer park plan to tell the whole world about what happened here today, but will probably just get locked up for being crazy. And the movie ends.